Ponytails. Read by Scribbler. Wrapping Paper by psp7master. If some pony had told Bonbon some 2 weeks ago that her sweet store would be out of business someday, she would have let out a dignified laugh and made a witty remark about her sweets being immortal. But here she was, packing the boxes with old recipes and packets of secret ingredients and bricks of butter and jelly jars, waiting for the movers to come. The new owners wanted the building to be a coffee shop, so she was free to take all her possessions and utensils with her. For now, though, all kinds of sweets lay on the counter, no price tags attached. 4 sweets a bit, of any kind. She liked to think of it as her goodbye to Ponyville's sweet lovers. But today, on the last day of her business here, there was no pony to say goodbye in return. Bonbon couldn't say she had made a whole bunch of friends in town. There were passing acquaintances in every town she'd found herself in, Ponyville included, but she had never felt particularly attached to any pony, or any place for that matter. She didn't feel a need for such attachment. She was perfectly content with her business and what acquaintances she had. Still, she hadn't had many visitors today, let alone customers. A few usual colts and fillies, delighted to buy twice as many sweets for the same price, only today, and a few parents eager to place orders that would never be accepted or fulfilled. Bonbon was just about to close up for the day, forever, and pay a visit to the usual place. They must be waiting for her, she reminded herself. They would be upset to see her go. Bonbon felt her eyes sting a little, but smiled in spite of herself. In a new town, there would be more of them, and she would try to contribute to their fading happiness as diligently as possible. Because making sweets wasn't the only talent she possessed, despite her cutie mark saying so. Storytelling was her forte as well. Making up tales of princesses and dragons, and brave knights in shining armor, and fearsome hydras, and tame manticores. It not only fascinated the foals, but also helped her carry on. Whenever she was sad, or bored, or in a difficult mental situation, she always created stories. Maybe that was just an escape from the rigors of life. Maybe it was something more. So long as it made her and the foals happy, she didn't care. The door opened, revealing a mint unicorn mare trotting into the shop, looking around curiously, taking in the rustic interior of the store.
Just in time,
Bonbon thought, both surprised by the mover's decision to send in only one unicorn, and slightly irritated by said unicorn's idleness.
So are you gonna stand there, or are you gonna stop moving the boxes?
She barked in ill-concealed irritation. The unicorn mare just blinked, tilting her head ever so slightly.
Great,
Bonbon thought, with an inner sigh that grew quickly into a real one.
They sent a dumb one. I need you to move the boxes outside first,
the confectioner explained slowly, marking every word.
Do you understand me?
The mint unicorn nodded slowly, as if in disbelief, and, following Bonbon's gaze, enveloped a set of boxes in her telekinetic grip. With an alien look at the confectioner, the mare took the box outside and immediately returned for another. Bonbon tapped her hoof against the floor impatiently.
Could you hurry up, please?
The unicorn cast a bewildered look at the cream-colored mare.
Listen,
She spoke finally.
I'm new in town and I'm not used to the local customs, but do you treat all your clients like this?
If it was possible to do a spit take on thin air, Bonbon could swear that she had just done it. Immediately, she rushed towards the customer, as if her frantic movement could make up for her mistake.
I'm so sorry.
Bonbon chirped, her business pony mode activated fully.
I thought you were a mover. See, I'm moving out, so... Oh, but you came in to buy, certainly. What can I offer you?
The mint mare blinked, the current of words rushing at her, rolling her up in their swiftness.
I wanted to buy some sweets.
But of course you do.
Bonbon grinned, waving her hoof all about the store.
May I interest you in some chocolate? Or boiled sweets? Chewies, maybe? We've also had new shipment of jelly beans and... Oh, I've almost forgotten. We have a special today. 4 sweets a bit.
Wonderful.
The mint mare smiled.
That's wonderful. I'd like to buy them all, thank you.
Bonbon's smile sustained for a few seconds, and then faded gradually, like a helium-deprived balloon.
All of them?
The mint mare nodded.
Yes, please. Here's my credit card.
Bonbon took a look.
Lyra heartstrings.
She read.
That... I can't sell all of them. They need more than this mare does. This newcomer, Lyra Heartstrings. Miss Heartstrings.
Bonbon began, but was swiftly interrupted.
Just Lyra.
The mint mare smiled. It was a simple smile, Bonbon noted. The kind of smile that you gave to a friend, or a family member, or a loved one, or an employer. The confectioner chuckled mentally.
Lyra, I'm not sure you want all of these sweets.
She paused, emphasizing for good measure.
That'll be 500 bits.
Lyra nodded.
I need a big supply. That'll be 2,000 pieces, right?
Bonbon nodded.
You don't need so much, you fat. They need it more than you do.
But she needed money. She needed to find a new home. She needed to set up a new business in a new place, and Celestia knew when it would happen. Until then, she needed all the money she could gather.
Moreover, I've offended her. It's just common courtesy.
The confectioner eased her conscience. She trotted towards the counter and processed the transaction.
Here you go.
Bonbon returned the card.
I'm sorry, but I can't offer delivery.
That's all right.
Lyra smiled.
I move between different places often. I've learned to rely on myself.
With that, she levitated the tremendous number of sweet treats and packed them, taking 2 large bags out of her saddlebags. Placing one of the bags on her back, she kept the other one in her telekinetic grip as she walked away.
Goodbye, Bonbon.
Only when the mare had already left did Bonbon realize that she had never introduced herself. For a moment, she had a feeling that she'd already seen this mare somewhere. But the feeling passed. She had her name on the building still. Maybe she had met this mare. Maybe this was a different universe, Bonbon thought with a smile. A different story. Bonbon walked along the narrow alley, breathing in the harsh, saturated air of the rustic town. One last day, she told herself. Not even a day, really. The movers had already shipped her things. She would be leaving overnight, but not before she said goodbye to her favorite ponies. The confectioner smiled, even though the windy weather tried to back her down at all costs, and the grumbling in her stomach urged her to come back and have a chocolate bar. The fact that there were no longer any chocolate bars did not bother her. Well, actually, it did, in the way that she would arrive empty-hooved.
How will this town live without sweets?
She wondered, as she turned the corner, the lampposts already igniting, lighting up the still sunlit street. There were no other sweet shops. Maybe the newborn coffee shop would sell sweets, Bonbon mused. Maybe they would sell pastry. The familiar building met her with the frozen fence that was meant to shield it from all and any intruder.
As if some pony would fall so low as to attack a full hospital.
Waving a hello to the security pony, Bonbon slid into the opening in the fencing and trotted towards the entrance. Visitors filled the lobby like sardines in a tin, mothers cradling their foals gently, foals with bandaged limbs and foals with dusty, worn-out eyes, foals with failed kidneys, and foals with weak hearts, foals with cancer, and foals who had just got here to get patched up for some minor trauma, shocked and teary-eyed from the horrors around them. Fathers standing aside, keeping their ill-gotten, dignified masculinity, while their eyes ached towards their foals, letting their wives tend to the little ones.
Meows do it better.
Bonbon passed the lobby, greeting nurses on the way to the common room, eyeing swiftly the patients of the hospital. New faces, new foals, unfamiliar to her.
And they'll never get to know me,
she thought, with some aching sadness. All those little foals. Of course, the nurses gave them the needed attention, but there was more to give than mere attention. Not every pony could provide entertainment. There wasn't a Pinkie Pie for every hospital in Equestria.
Bonbon!
Nurse Redheart, a mare of white coat with happy, smiling eyes, greeted the confectioner.
I heard you were moving out.
Bonbon nodded with a sad smile, knowing Redheart's love of gossip.
just like every other noise. I thought I'd say goodbye to the little ones.
Now, Bonbon's smile grew happy and genuine.
I got a new story to tell them. I think it's my best one.
She pranced towards the common room, the story surfacing in her mind. She lived for moments like this, to see their faces lit up with anticipation, to hear their little gasps and ahs, their giggles and the clopping of their little hooves when she was done with the story and began to hand out sweets. But she had no sweets today, so the story had to be extra good. Bonbon nodded to herself resolutely.
Bonbon!
Nurse Redheart called out, but the confectioner had already opened the doors to the common room.
And then Sir Lancelot crushed the dragon with his mighty pike.
Bonbon froze in place. The room was full of foals, her little ponies, the ponies she'd grown used to, the ponies who listened eagerly to her every word, now staring in awe at the mint mare from before, the mare who was waving her hooves in the air as she told a story that kept the foals' immediate attention. Lyra Heartstrings.
It's Miss Bonbon.
One of the little fillies exclaimed, pointing her little pink hoof at the confectioner.
Miss Bonbon, Miss Lyra's just telling us a story.
The filly got up and pranced in place gleefully.
Wanna listen, wanna listen?
The foals turned to her, one by one, smiling and greeting their friend and storyteller. Lyra smiled at her with her smile. The smile given to a friend, a family member, a loved one, a storyteller. Bonbon swayed a little as she took a step forth and sat next to her little ponies, facing the mint mare, smiling.
Sure, I'd love to.
Lyra carried on with her tale, while Bonbon took a look around. Foals of all colours and complexions, foals of different backgrounds and different illnesses, foals that she had known for a little while, but never gotten to know really well, foals that were present in every town, foals that needed her attention. Toys all around them, forgotten in the wake of this epic tale. Sunset pouring into the windows generously, lighting up the walls and the floors, and the storyteller's features, and the chairs around the room. Light pouring on Falls, enraptured by the tale, smiling, whispering, chewing, bonbons, and chocolate bars, and boiled sweets, and gumdrops, and licorice, and wrapping paper everywhere. That was Wrapping Paper. It was written by psp7master and read by Scribbler with special guest voice actors Kate Bug, The Lost Narrator, and Wish Lotus. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I wanted to do something a little romantic this week, since I haven't done a romance in goodness knows how long. And considering I did a sad fic last week, and I've got some dark fics in the offing for in a couple of weeks' time, I think. I'm not sure. Might be next week, might be in a couple of weeks' time. My schedule tends to be flexible, based on my tastes and what I feel like doing, and which fics have been sitting there untended for some time. And I wanted to do something nice. I wanted to do something... Whenever I put slice of life in the tags or in the title for a video, it always seems like people don't want to listen to that, which intrigues and confuses me a little, because the show itself is a slice of life. Maybe they just don't want to read that in fandom then, if they're getting that already from canon. I don't know. But this one is slice of life and romance. Very subtle romance. I like to think of this as a pre-canon for why we always see Lyra and Bonbon together in the show itself. But anyway, thank you very much to my 3 collaborators. All go and subscribe to their channels, please, if you haven't done so already. I don't think I've got that much to add this week. I keep telling myself I've got to make an update video for the bits of art and things that people have given me, and because I've had some really, really nice pieces of art, and I promised I would put them all in one video, rather than add them just to the end of these videos, and also just to update people on other projects I've been in to give them some signal boosting. But I've really let things get away from me, to be honest. I've been trying desperately to create a buffer of fic readings and comic dubs for the next couple of weeks while I'm at Buck and CamCon, and while I've got a couple of people staying with me over the summer. And I won't be able to edit anything or record anything. And so the update video has kind of fallen by the wayside, which, to be honest, I feel a bit grotty about, because the people who sent me stuff, they've worked really hard on it, and I should be giving them the exposure and the gratitude that they deserve. So I shall put it on my priority list. It's probably going to be a long one, because, like I said, I've let stuff get away from me in this. So without further ado, I depart to go and gather together all my links and things, and hopefully start recording. Be lovely to each other, and good night, everybody.